Good morning, and we're in chapter 8. We got a couple more chapters. Even though Haman is gone, we still have a few things to tie up. So one day did the king Ahasuerus give the house of Haman, the Jews' enemy, to Esther the queen. Notice how it just says the Jews' enemy as well. And Mordecai came before the king, for Esther had told what he was to her. So now the king goes, oh, wait, so this guy that I just had honored is your cousin or your uncle or whatever, or sort of your dad, I guess. I don't know what she said, but let her know that he was her family, basically. And the king took off his ring, which he had taken from Haman, and gave it to Mordecai. And Esther set Mordecai over the house of Haman. So basically, not only he went, wait, Mordecai saved my life, but he's also a relative to my queen as well. And Esther spake again before the king, and fell down at his feet, and besought him with tears to put away the mischief of Haman the Agagite, and his device that he devised against the Jews. So she is still worried about this, and rightly so. And we'll just look here really in the right-hand corner. What did Esther still plead for the Jews after Haman's death? The text notes that King Ahasuerus' decree, which mandated the destruction of the Jews, could not be undone. So Esther persuaded the king to issue another decree allowing the Jews to defend themselves before the planned day of their own massacre. So it's basically, well, I can't undo that, but I can change the laws, other things about it. And we'll see that as we go along. And Esther spake again before the king, and fell down at his feet, and besought him with tears to put away the mischief of Haman the Agagite, and his device that he devised against the Jews. Then the king held out the golden scepter toward Esther. So Esther arose and stood before the king, and said, if it please the king, and if I have found favor in his sight, and the thing seem right before the king, I be pleasing in his eyes, let it be written to reverse the letters devised by Haman, the son of Hammedatha the Agagite, which he wrote to destroy the Jews which are in the king's provinces. For how can I endure to see the evil that shall come unto my people? Or can I endure to see the destruction of my kindred? Then the king Ahasuerus said unto Esther the queen, and to Mordecai the Jew, behold, I have given Esther the house of Haman, and him they have hanged upon the gallows, because he laid his hands upon the Jews. Write ye also for the Jews as it liketh you, in the king's name, and seal it with the king's ring. For the writing which is written in the king's name, and sealed it with the king's ring, that no man reverse. So there's the clue, that once he does this, they don't reverse it. They can't say, oh, well, let's take it back. I'm not sure why they can't do all of that. We do it all the time with our laws nowadays. It's not the easiest thing to do, though. Once you've said something, and put it into law, it's very hard to reverse that law right off, and that's why they take so long sometimes to get a law into practice. Then were the king's scribes called at that time in the 3rd month, that is the month Sivan, on the 23rd day thereof. And it was written according to all that Mordecai commanded unto the Jews, and to the lieutenants and the deputies and the rulers of the provinces which are from India to Ethiopia, 120 provinces, unto every province according to the writing thereof, and unto every people after their language, and the Jews according to their writing and according to their language. So not just to the Jews, but everybody. And he wrote in King Ahasuerus' name, and sealed it with the king's ring, and sent letters by post on horseback, and riders on camels and young dromedaries. There wherein the king granted the Jews which were in every city to gather themselves together, and to stand for their life, to destroy, to slay, and to cause to perish all the power of the people and province that would assault them, both little ones and women, and take the spoil of them for prey. So basically, just the opposite. It's like, that's what they're going to do to you, you do it to them first. Preemptive strike, I guess. Upon one day, in all the provinces of King Ahasuerus, namely upon the 13th day of the 12th month, which is the month Adar, the copy of the writing for a commandment to be given in every province was published unto all people, and that the Jews should be ready against the day to avenge themselves on their enemies. So again, it's a certain day is given, and to me, the way it looks in both accounts, those that were to kill the Jews and those Jews that were going to defend themselves, each time it was on a certain day. So what I read into that is that the law said you can't do anything, but you can on that day, and after that day, probably not again. That's the way I see it anyway. It just stood out to me at this time. So the posts that rode upon mules and camels went out, being hastened and pressed by the king's commandment, and the decree was given at Shushan the palace. And Mordecai went out from the presence of the king in royal apparel of blue and white, with great crown of gold, and with garment of fine linen and purple. And the city of Shushan rejoiced and was glad. The Jews had light and gladness and joy and honor. I like how it says this light and gladness. They feel like a heavy burden's been taken off them. And every province and every city, whithersoever the king's commandment and decree came, the Jews had joy and gladness, a feast and a good day. And many of the people of the land became Jews, for fear of the Jews fell upon them. Now I found that interesting, became Jews. I'm guessing that there was sort of a revival and people started to do that. And if it became Jews, that means that they came to God the same way. They started to believe. It's interesting that they don't use it that much in this account. They don't use the name of God in any of this, but when you think it fit that they came to God, for the fear of God fell upon them. I mean, in other writings that we've been reading, that is how it would have been said. But in this, whoever wrote it this way left those things out and left it, the word Jew in all of this at the same time. But the story is the same, and understanding of what happened can be taken from this. And of course, this is direct reference to Purim that they would then have as a feast. And we'll continue tomorrow.